Okay, cracking code with Dave. We're going to talk about control flow statements, specifically if else and if if else if. It's going to be great. If else if. So, what are control flow statements? Control flow statements are used to control the flow of execution in a program. There's a lot of different kinds of control flow statements, like in Swift, there's switch, there's for, while, repeat while, do, try, catch, guard, defer. Even inside of these statements, there's returns, there's breaks, there's continues, there's throws. Um, and then I wrote down some operators here, which we might need to know operators as well. Operators are these like equals, greater than or equal to, those kinds of things. So let's see. Let's start with a variable. A variable, we'll call it variable is equal to my baby noise. My baby's noise. My baby's noise. Actually, it should probably just be baby noise. Variable baby noise is equal to wah. Okay. Now, anyone that's had a baby knows they have different kinds of cries, and different cries mean different things. You can't always tell what their problem is. So let's say if the baby's noise is equal to wee, then print let's call that one hungry. Maybe it's like wah, wah. Okay. So here's our first if statement. Baby noise. We're declaring a variable called baby noise, right? And it's equal to this string exactly. Wah. Now we're saying if the baby's noise is equal to wah, wah, then it's hungry. But what about the wah? Well, let's say else. Everything else is print wants to be held. Okay, but that can't really be true because there's a lot of other things that could be wrong with babies. Let's just write a couple out up here. Babies like to be held, babies are hungry, babies need sleep, babies need to burp sometimes, babies, what's the other one? Help sleep, are sick, tired, overstimulated, and of course, dirty diaper. Okay, let's say there's all of these things. Now, what I would suggest, if you're doing a bunch of if, else, 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 else statements, because you could continue to do this, you could do if, you can do if, sorry, you can do if else, I'm sorry, you can do an if statement. You can, I'm going to say this again so I can edit this out. You can do an if statement here, right? If baby's noise is equal to 1, print this. You can also do else if baby noise is equal to wah. Do that. And at the end, you could put another else statement on. Else print, I don't know. Like if the baby throws an extra couple as in there, I don't know what that means. So if you're stringing a bunch of if statements and else if statements, you really might look into this switch control down here. Switch makes that a lot cleaner when you write the code. It'll still work in much the same way, similar way, but switch statement might be for you if you've got a bunch of consecutive if else statements, else if statements. So what we would probably end up doing is trying to identify each of the sounds that a baby makes and then checking to see if the baby's noise is equal to those sounds and how to respond accordingly. You can also, let me see if I can do this. You can also make an if statement with a function as the condition. This is called the condition in here. And so if this condition is met, then do this thing. Else if this condition is met, do this thing. So let's make a function and call it baby tired. What does it take? It does, let's say it doesn't take a variable. Let's say it just returns a bool. Everyone know what a bool is? Bool is either true or false. And let's say you do a bunch of cool stuff to check if baby is tired inside this function. And then you find out that return, yep, the baby is tired, true. So we're returning true for this function. So you could say, put together another if statement, if baby tired, do this, print baby tired. It's giving me an error here. I don't think it's necessary. Let's see, why does it give me an error? Oh, I know why. In Playgrounds, things happen in consecutive order. So it doesn't know what that function is yet because I haven't declared it. If I declare it above here, then it gets what I'm talking about. Right? Yeah, there it goes. Okay. So in if statement, if it's a bool, like true or false, you could use the return of a function as the condition for the if statement. You know, that's kind of a mouthful, but what it's saying here is if run this function, yep, baby's tired, then print that. Like, if we make this false and we find out the baby isn't tired, this will never happen here. If we want something to happen instead, then we could just print something like baby not tired. So this stuff will come in useful when you're writing your code. You can also do if something is greater than something else, something is less than something else. And you do that using these operators down here. So how that would look in real life is if let's say there's a variable, let Dave's computer, or let how many computers Dave has, that's the worst title, equal 3. If how many computers Dave has is greater than, oh, that's less than, greater than 2, and let's say, come on, Dave, that's too many. You get it? So we used less than here as the condition for the if statement. And again, like once you start running through these if statements, this is a whole like series of events. If baby noise is wah wah, then it goes here. If baby noise is wah, then it goes here. If it finds one of these, then it stops and just skips the rest. But if it doesn't find one of them, it continues through the series until it gets to the end here. You could do a bunch of if statements in a row, and then they wouldn't be in a series. They would just be one at a time at a time. Well, I think I've sufficiently complicated if-else statements for you. Now, if you're not confused now, then I don't know. No, hopefully I helped you. But I might redo this video so it's a little bit cleaner, but I guess I'll leave it for now because I got to get going, got to get ready. So here's version 1, if-else statements in Swift Thank you for joining me. Cracking Code with Dave.